One thing about James Gunn, he gonna put his new wife in every movie that he does. And I respect him for it. And welcome to my safe haven, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining me and clicking on another video here on the Black Gay Comic Geek channel. But if this is your first time checking out my channel, welcome. Thank you so much. Let me introduce myself. My name is Michael. I call myself the Black Gay Comic Geek. And I always say the things that I love to talk about on my channel has blood, sex, gore, and magic, or any variation of the four. So I like to talk superheroes, video games, comic books, action movies, horror movies, sci-fi, fantasy, and of course I like to talk about black representation and queer representation, a lot of times the lack thereof in sci-fi fantasy. So if that's something that you are interested in, if you think representation matters, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, become one of my safe haveneers, which is what I call my subscribers and my followers across multiple social media sites, which as well, follow me on my other social media platforms, link in the description below. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, as you can see, TikTok, Twitter, all of that stuff. Follow me there. And then also on this video and every video, watch, like, share, comment, interact for the all gay rhythm. Check out the other videos on my channel. But with that said, like I already said, watching this video, do me a favor, hit the like button. It'll really help with the YouTube algorithm, getting this video out there, getting my channel out there, and more people could come and swing over to the channel and hopefully subscribe. But with that said, we are here to talk non-spoilers for the next movie in the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 5, and that is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This is the last hurrah for James Gunn before he heads on over as the new head of the DC Studios, and it is probably the last time we're going to see this incarnation of these characters, these versions of the Guardians of the Galaxy. I want to say thank you so much to Marvel Studios and Disney for allowing me the opportunity to get an early screener. I actually got to see it on, what day was that? I don't remember. Thursday, April 27th. So thanks so much. But like I said, this is a non-spoiler review. Movie comes out officially next week, May 5th. I'm actually seeing it again on Wednesday, May 3rd. But anyway, who cares about all that? Let's get into the synopsis of the movie. Still reeling from the loss of Gamora, Peter Quill must rally his team to defend the universe and protect one of their own. If the mission is not completely successful, it could possibly lead to the end of the Guardians as we know them. And so yeah, really quick, I know I joked about in the intro of the video, and it's not a spoiler because it doesn't tell you anything about the plot, who she's playing, yada, 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 but about how James Gunn is putting his new wife in every project that he does, because what, she was in the Suicide Squad, she was in every episode of Peacemaker, we saw her in Black Adam. Was she in Black? Yeah, she was in Black Adam. Then she showed up again in Shazam, and now she's jumping over to the Marvel Cinematic Universe in this movie. I know there's some people online, like literally there are legit people online complaining that he's putting his wife in all these movies. And honestly, I don't have a problem with it. Like, James Gunn is a director, has more power than an actor, and now he's the head of a studio. You don't think he's gonna want to put his wife on, or not even just his wife, because Sean Gunn, his brother, has been in every single Guardians of the Galaxy movie. When we come into money or funds or opportunities, we want to help our own family members out too. So I don't have a problem. And it's not like she can't act. He's putting her on and giving her these roles. And it's not like she's the lead of the movie. So I just wanted to address that. I don't have a problem with it like some people do on the internet. I just thought it was funny when I saw her show up. I was like, wow, he's really about to put her in every movie. But good for him. But anyway, speaking of family, the family of the Guardians of the Galaxy, these ragtag misfits, like, I'm going to come out and say right now that, like, I really love the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Obviously, it was the first of its kind. It's the first time we got to see these characters. And it was the first time I really saw any of James Gunn's work, and of course the soundtrack and all of that stuff. So it does have a special place in my heart. But with that said, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is my favorite of the franchise. I absolutely love this movie. There was so much character, there was so much heart, the music, the special effects, the action choreo. Like, I love this movie. And especially, and I came into this movie a little bit nervous, especially coming off the heels of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, that being the first movie of Phase 5, and that not really leaving a good taste in my mouth. Not that the movie was terrible. The movie wasn't terrible. I did enjoy the movie. Granted, we didn't know what we knew about Jonathan Majors, but we're not even talking about any of that, but just the movie in and of itself. The movie was just okay to me. And so I was hoping, you know, I don't know what I was hoping for going into this movie, but going into this movie was incredible. And the thing about this movie really solidified my love for these characters, especially for the character of Rocket Raccoon. And just to let you know, no, I didn't just get this. I got this like years ago. Really, because I got this around the same time I got this shirt for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, but I had to bust it out for this review because he was definitely the heart and soul of this final trilogy. And it makes me want to go back and watch the other episodes. And honestly, it is so funny to me that this movie made me fall in love. And if you've seen the trailer, it's not a spoiler, but this movie made me fall in love with a bunch of CGI animals that don't even exist in real life. Starting with obviously Rocket Raccoon. I loved Rocket before this movie, but after this movie, like, I love Rocket Raccoon. Like, he's one of probably my favorite character in the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise now. And the fact that, like, it's a CGI character. So the fact that I have garnered so much love and obsession with this CGI raccoon, and then also the other CGI animals that you find or get to know in this movie from the backstory of Rocket Raccoon, like, every single one of them I became attached to. And none of them are real. I became more attached to them than the actual human characters. And then also another thing about this movie that I really enjoyed talking about characters, and I feel like more so than the other movies, I feel like every single member of the Guardians got their moment to shine. And not even just like the main Guardians that we know, but also like the new characters that we see. Cause like, if you saw the Christmas special, you know, Cosmo, the dog that has telekinetic powers and telepathic powers, Cosmo, which in the comics, Cosmo is a boy, but in the MCU, they made Cosmo into a girl. Still Russian though, but Cosmo has a bigger role in this movie. Kraglin has a bigger role in this movie. So all of these characters got their moment to shine. And I'm a big character guy, and I feel like there was much more character, much more development, much more heart with these characters than pretty much all of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, because I feel like most of the other, like volumes 1 and 2, mostly focused on Peter and more so Gamora, but volume 3, everybody got their moment. Of course, with that, like, this movie really also delved more into Peter and a lot of PTSD and the trauma that he had from pretty much being abducted from a child. And they kind of touch on it a little bit in like Guardians Volume 2 when we found out who his father was and things like that. But like and then also, you know, what I mentioned with the synopsis of reeling with the death of Gamora, we're really getting into and diving into the psyche of Peter Quill. And honestly, like, this movie was way darker in tone than any of the previous Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, this movie was dark. And the darkness of this movie, like, the tone of this movie was the same exact tone that I wanted from Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Like, of course, with this being Guardians of the Galaxy, there were definitely some jokes and there were definitely moments of comedy that I was just like, all right, we don't need this. Like, moving on, let's wrap it up. But overall, this movie was dark and I was here for it. And speaking of darkness, I call him like not Kang, the villain of the movie, the High Evolutionary. And the reason I call him not Kang is because it's another black man that's dressed in like a purple outfit, kind of like Kang the Conqueror. But one of the things about Marvel a lot of times in these movies is the villain is not that good. But surprisingly enough, I really enjoyed the High Evolutionary in this movie, played by Chukwudi Iwuji. I hope I said that right. But like, and it's also a thing, because I keep saying, like, I want to see more black villains. And granted, in the comics, the High Evolutionary is not black. And a lot of times, you know, you people can say, well, why? I don't want to see any more black villains. No, the problem with that is, like, a lot of times when you see black people as villains, it's always the stereotype. We're thugs, we're the drug dealers or whatever. But like, villains like this, like the icon, like a Kang the Conqueror, a High Evolutionary, or even Black Mariah in why am I drawing a blank? Luke Cage. Like, I want to see more like black villains like this. And so getting to see Chukwudi played the High Evolutionary, I enjoyed his character. And no, he's not going to go down as like the great Marvel villains, but compared to like the Marvel villains that we've gotten in this movie, I enjoyed him. And then his dynamic with Rocket and everything like that, like, again, I enjoyed his character. And like, this man was brutal as the High Evolutionary. And also, of course, you think about a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, you think about a James Gunn movie, you know the score and the sound, specifically the soundtrack, is going to be top tier, it's going to be fire. So like, once the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 soundtrack drops, of course I'm going to get it, because every single song in this movie slapped. As the kids would say, every single song in this movie really fit with these characters and everything that you know about Peter Quill, etc. Like, every time a song would bust out, the audience, me, like, we were all jamming with the movie. And there wasn't a moment where, you know, because sometimes, like, I think about a moment in Black Adam where they introduced that song, "No One Man Should Have All That Power," and it didn't fit with the movie, and it didn't fit with the tone. Yeah, it was literally true for the terms of the movie, but it just didn't fit. But every song for this movie, it worked. And the sound, again, and not just the soundtrack, but the score as well. Like, during the battle sequences, during the quiet moment, like, every song in this movie worked. And so that was another thing that really had me going for this movie. And also with that, you know, obviously it's the last movie in the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy or whatever. So definitely bring your tissues, because this movie had so many emotions. Now, with that said, despite really enjoying the movie, despite saying that it is my favorite of the trilogy, that does not mean the movie is perfect. But with that said, just because I said this movie is my favorite of the trilogy, that I really enjoyed this movie, that doesn't mean this movie is perfect. Because like, this movie sees the introduction of Adam Warlock, played by Will Poulter, who most people know from like, I know him from Black Mirror mostly, but he's been in a bunch of other movies. And while I enjoyed him and what he did with Adam Warlock, the characterization of Adam Warlock and what Adam Warlock means for the greater Marvel universe and the comics, and how powerful Adam Warlock is and everything like that, like, his character to me honestly was wasted in this movie. And typical MCU thing, they kind of played Adam Warlock to be a joke, more or less. Yeah, he was powerful as he is in the not as he is in the comics, but he was powerful, but at the same time he was dumbed down. And that's also something that I hate that they do with like Drax the Destroyer in this, in both, not in just in this movie and in all the movies. Like, yeah, everybody got their moment to shine, but I never really liked the characterization of Drax in these movies. I never really liked the characterization of Mantis in these movies. Like, honestly, my Guardians of the Galaxy are the version from the PS5 video game. If you have not played the PS5 video game, definitely go play that. I totally recommend that. Like, that's how the Guardians of the Galaxy should be. And so that's one of my big complaints about the MCU version of the Guardians of the Galaxy, because for the most part, Drax is pretty much an idiot. And Mantis too, like, they play her to be dumb, and she's not really dumb, or she's not supposed to be. But like I said, Mantis did get her moment to shine, and this movie does show and go to show how powerful she actually is and how powerful she could be with her abilities. But yeah, like I said, with this being a non-spoiler review, I don't know what else to say other than the fact that I really enjoyed it. Like, I definitely can't wait to see it again. I want to see it again. And also with that, there are 2 post-credit scenes, so make sure you stay for the mid-credits and the final credits at the end when all the credits roll. And yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy for me, I would say, is definitely a blockbuster. Yeah, the movie is a little long. It's about almost 3 hours, I believe. But honestly, for me, like, it could have been a little longer. And I know some people were complaining about the length and things, but I didn't have a problem with the length for the movie. But that's just me. That could be, but some other people might have a problem with the length. So make sure you don't drink a lot of water or whatever, or have to run to the bathroom, because every moment you need to watch. And hopefully this is like, you know, Ant-Man and the Wasp was just an anomaly for Phase 5, but the rest of these movies are gonna be hitting on all cylinders. Like, I'm definitely excited. I didn't see the trailer because I'm not watching any trailers. So that's also another thing about this movie, because I didn't watch any of the trailers. So there was a lot of things that I wasn't expecting or didn't know about or whatever, because I didn't see the trailer. So that's also maybe a thing that could have helped, that maybe helped me in my excitement for the movie. But I'm really hoping the Marvels is going to be great. I'm hoping it's going to be fantastic. I'm hoping it's going to be just as awesome, if not more so, than this movie. But yeah, with that said, when you guys see Guardians of the Galaxy, come back to this review and let me know all of your thoughts for the movie. Where does this movie stand in the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy? Like I said, this is my favorite. and then Guardians 1. And Guardians 2, I didn't really care for that much. Like, I think I've only seen, even though I'm wearing a Volume 2 shirt, but it's the only Guardians shirt I have. But Guardians Volume 2, I think I've only seen that once because I didn't really care for it that much, to be perfectly honest. But like I said, Guardians Volume 3, Guardians 1, and then Guardians Volume 2. But let me know once you see the movie, what's your ranking. Let me know if you haven't seen the movie yet, your anticipation or lack of anticipation for the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. What are your predictions, theories? What do you think is going to happen? And all of that stuff. Who do you think's not going to make it? All of that. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, again, if you can, if this is your first time checking out one of my videos, please check out the other videos on my channel. If you like what you see, please subscribe for more and hit that bell notification button so you're alerted every single time I post a new video. And tell your friends, families, and neighbors about my channel to help me continue to grow. And as always, I will catch you guys next time.